So I figured, so there are 15 paper copies up here if you guys want to grab
These will
them.
be available on the Google Drive later today. It'll also be in the Facebook group. And like Maya said, it will hopefully be in zip form soon. It will be in command. So you'll hear us in November where we'll start rolling out the instructions on what type of requirement will become. For right now, it's just for you to use how you see fit.
Questions, concerns, comments, go.
Is the attorney going to be responsible for getting the affiliate, title company affiliate form signed, or do we?
It's actually on this form.
It's on there, so
It's
there's.
on this
okay.
form. Yep, we've combined everything together for that purpose, correct?
So
it's
from
on
a
there.
buyer perspective, from an agency perspective, it's really easy to get it right in there with your buyer agency forms and your listing agent forms right in the beginning.
Anything else? Liz, did you have a question? Okay, anybody else?
Good job, Maya, bringing that over the finish line and
They're-
making it pretty. Yeah.
He's good at pretty. We all know that.
All right, I don't know if this is still working. Oh, where's that? You might have to help me out. All right. Admin
Welcome.
updates done.
Yeah, welcome to our sponsor. So today we have Island Insurance. If you guys want to come on up, they're going to talk to us for a couple of minutes and we have some handouts, right? Yeah, cool. All right.
From Mania, right?
We are from, our office is located in Manio, so those of you who are from Manio.
Woo! Where are you at, people? There's 3 of us. Come on, raise your hands.
We got some goodies for you here and a little bit of handouts, just so you'll have something to look at and refer to. As I understand it, I think the only thing between you guys and lunch is me. So I'll be respectful of that and I appreciate your time. If I were sitting in your shoes, I'm trying to come up with what I would want to hear. And so the 2 things that popped in my mind. If I were you, who is this dude? How can he help me? So let me take this minute to kind of share that with you. I'm from Dare County. I went to elementary school, went to junior high, went to high school in Manio. I was raised here. After high school, I spent 4+ years in Chapel Hill. And as soon as I could get my diploma and get my ducks in a row, I came back to Dare County. As a resident of Dare County, I had a couple of jobs, and then one day I woke up and I was branch manager of the East Carolina Bank right here in Southern Shores, which is now like First National. That was where I got my real education. That was where I learned business. I learned real estate lending. I got my contract license while I was working at the bank, so I understand construction lending, I understand builder risk insurance, and developed my relationships with a lot of the closing attorneys here on the Outer Bank. Steve Michael was a neighbor of mine at one time. Mike Casey is my brother's neighbor. Linda McCown and I went offshore fishing like last month. Dave Willis and Dave Willis' son, my son, on the same baseball team in high school. I tell you all this to tell you that I have a relationship with the closing attorneys, so that if you guys have a client that needs a real estate closing to happen, ideally, insurance will not be one of those snags. We'll do what we can to work with those guys because we know one another pretty well to make sure the insurance is not something that you guys get held up. While I was a banker, one of my customers was the agency manager for one of the big insurance players on the Outer Bank. And he kept coming to me and saying, hey, why don't you come work with us? Hey, don't you want to come write insurance? It ain't broke, I wasn't trying to fix it, I was happy as a lender. Well, storm came and a tree dropped on my mother's car, crushed her car. She had a terrible experience with that insurance claim. Next storm comes along, tree drops on my dad's car, tree dropped on my parents' house. So, okay, again, they had a terrible experience with their insurance. And one day I looked at my wife and I said, you know, all these things keep happening in my life. I think the good Lord is shoving me toward being an insurance agent. I don't have any clue why. I don't, you know, but if that's where I'm supposed to go, maybe I should follow his calling. So in 2004, I took a leap of faith and walked away from the lending world and became an insurance agent. And I wrote insurance with the big boys. And while I was in that office, it was get them in, get them what they want, sell them life insurance, get them out. Get the next one in, sell them what they want, sell them life insurance, get them out. And I got tired of the churning that was going on. They didn't care when what went out the back door, bring me no one, bring me no one, bring me no one, sell them life insurance. So I kind of had my fill of that, and in 2010, I was an insurance agency before. I thought, well, maybe I can do it my own way and do it better. So that's what we've done. And open our doors. We are a small agency in Mayhew. It's myself, my wife, a licensed agent, Allison, and then of course, Sonia. We felt like as a boutique, we call ourselves, or I call ourselves, we can take time to treat our customer like they're the only one we have that day. Something that is not the case, but we want them to feel that way. We feel like if you come into my agency and you sit down across the desk with me and you write me a check for $3,000 and you get up and walk out, you don't have anything shiny that makes noise that you can play with. Wow, look what I got for my money. That doesn't happen. So how can we make it so that you want to write me a check? Well, you got to feel warm and fuzzy by the relationship that we have, not by this piece of paper you're walking out with. So we like very much to answer our customers' questions before they have an incident, not after the fact. So we try and take time to spend with them to make them feel like, hey, we have a relationship. We feel like the number one complaint that we were getting from our competitors, my agent won't call me back. So at Island Insurance Agency, we have a mentality of, you call me, you're going to get a call back, if not the same day. You call me at 4:30 in the afternoon and I'm with somebody, you might not get a call back that day, but certainly by the next day. That's our goal. That's what we want to try to do. So that's a little about me. And then my wife is from Lincolnton, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte. She moved to Dare County in 1995, shacked up with me for whatever reason. The rest
We
is
ask her
history.
that question a lot.
So she has decided to join me in the office, and she brings a perspective for someone who's not necessarily all Dare County. She comes from the western part of the state. So if you guys have buyers that aren't from this area, maybe she can have some perspective to help with relating with your customer. If I might look at it from the eyes of a Dare County would, she's a little different. And then in our office, we have Allison, who is a licensed customer service. She hails from Baltimore, just outside of DC. So she has the lens that she's from the northern part of the country, or the Northeast, let's say, and can help me with perspective. You know, I might look at it like this, she would look at it like that. So if you guys have, again, clients from that area who would look at it from that perspective, she helps with the full, just not the same ideas as I might have. And then we've got Sonia, who is from Warrenton, North Carolina. So she's North Carolina through and through. But at the same time, she remembers what it's like to move from Warrenton to the Outer Banks. So she can help with perspective as well. So we feel like we can get the gambit as far as perspective. We're not just pigeonholed. So what can we do to help you and your customers? Well, as an independent agency, we have a relationship with 4 or 5 different homeowners companies that can help with your customers' needs. So let's say they're coming to Dare County, they may or may not relocate here. Let's say they just want to buy investment property, or they want to relocate. Either way, we have a product, we think, to help them. So let's say they want to live in Dare County, and they're going to make this their primary residence. Like I said, we've got 4 or 5 different companies we can turn to. And the first thing you might think of, oh, great, we can compete on price. In the insurance world, we don't believe price is the most important thing. While it is important, if it were all about price, then there'd be one player in the industry and everybody else got a business. Again, we believe it's relationship. So I tell you all this to tell you that the market in Dare County has hardened considerably as far as you may or may not have experienced this already. as the example, I'll use one of our companies is called United Property and Casualty. They write primary homes on the coast with the wind included. You don't have to have a separate wind policy like you guys, like you alluded to earlier. They'll write it all in one. Well, 3 years ago, in the state of North Carolina, they had written 8,000 policies. Okay, so they got experience, that's great. 2 years ago, they wrote 300. You think, what in the world, why would they have done that? Well, if you'll notice this year, as far as hurricanes go, we've been very blessed. No hurricanes have hit the state of North Carolina. Last year, same thing, it's pretty quiet, we're great. The year prior to that, there were 3 that hit North Carolina pretty hard. I don't think Dare County got all 3, but the state did. UPC writes insurance in our state. Insurance companies buy what's called reinsurance. UPC had, and I don't know these numbers for sure, this is for illustration. If UPC had $100 million of exposure, let's say, in the state of North Carolina. Well, they don't have cash reserves for $100 million worth of losses. So they buy reinsurance. Reinsurance is insurance on their insurance. Well, reinsurance comes at a price, cost of goods sold, directly driving your price to your customers. So as a company, they have to make a decision. How much reinsurance do we want to buy to keep our prices competitive? Well, in this example, let's say they bought $50 million worth of reinsurance. So they have $50 million that they have to bear themselves out of their own pocket. Those 3 incidents that happened in the state of North Carolina, all 3 at UPC anyway, were below their reinsurance trigger. So they had to pay all 3 of those loss events out of their own pocket. So now suddenly UPC is strapped for cash. Their cash reserves are gone. So they respond by raising their prices, of course, tightening the requirements a lot. And they actually have canceled contracts with a number of their agents because we don't want to write any more exposure. We got to build our cash reserves up before we write any more. Well, what do you care about all this? Well, the significance of this is obviously UPC is out. They don't write a whole lot anymore until they get their cash reserve put back. Okay, great. We have a relationship with them. We have a relationship with Frontline, Heritage, Hartford, a number of other companies. So we don't write with them anymore. We look at these guys. Currently, Frontline seems to be our front runner. I don't like it enough. Their pricing is good. Their requirements are, I'm getting the hook. Their requirements are short. So we're kind of going toward them. The reason I'm telling you all that is we have options. If they don't want that one, we can find this one. If they don't want this one, we can find that one. We can shop the marketplace to find reference or a place for your customers' business. So let's say that they come to Dare County and they want to have their primary residence here. Okay. Not only do we write their house, we can also provide for their cars. And let's say, oh, I've got a motorcycle, or hey, I moved to Dare County, I'm going to buy a boat. We have 2 options for them. I tell you all this to tell you there are options for your customers. So if you give us your relationship with your customer, we can help them, and we can help them with all their insurance needs, not just this one deal that they're buying. Because like I said earlier, we're about relationship insuring. We believe in the relationship, not just the one deal. We want to help them with everything that they might need. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for hearing me out. She passed out all the good stuff. Be sure to have that. And we've got business cards. If you've got any questions for Sonia or I, we'll still be here after you guys are eating food here and ready.
It will be in just a minute. So that's what I was gonna say. Thank you guys so much for lunch. They sponsored our lunch today. So, and you're all are gonna hang out while we're eating too. So you can ask questions and start building that relationship. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so we have our speaker, we have about 5 minutes and our speaker is coming on next. So Spencer just has a quick informational thing to talk to you about real quick. So apparently it's super quick. It's super quick. 2 minutes. No, we're gonna talk about, we're really excited. We have an ALC rotation coming up. So some of our ALC members are coming off of the board and then, which means we have spots for new ALC members to come on. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. And I just want, raise your hand. If somebody in this room or at some point in your life has helped you get an answer for something, a checklist for something, given you advice. I'd say everybody, right? So we know that, and I think the special thing that we have here at KW is that really is our culture. We help each other, right? So this quote here is really our vision for the future, and our ALC starting off has done a really good job of putting that in place and really giving back. And we're gonna build upon that foundation with our next rotation and really take that to the next level. So Spencer, talk to them a little bit about ALC.
Oh,
You want to say something, I can feel it. It's really bothering you.
they stole my quote, y'all. That is my quote. Everybody who's ever met with me knows I say that in every recruiting appointment or whatever, so.
I will,
I've never heard it.
Yep. You
I
weren't
will put a
listening.
picture,
Apparently you weren't listening.
I will put a picture of you on the note next time.
Thank you.
Yes. You know I'm good at photoshopping, so. So I'm
Apparently Alex wasn't listening during our appointment.
Yeah.
And yet she's still up
Okay, so I am gonna make this really, really fast. So, if you get an email after this, that means that you qualify for a seat on our ALC. If you qualify for a seat on our ALC, you need to be prepared to be excited and to be uncomfortable. Because we are definitely turning this up. I've spent a lot of time. I've been out of town. I've been on Zoom calls. I've been on massive brainstormings with other market centers to figure out, honestly, what we were getting wrong. Because we didn't quite have it, and we knew that. We knew it, and we were like, how do we find this information? And I finally found the ALC that I want us to grow up to be. Oh, I'm so excited. So it means a lot to you all if you make it onto the list, but it is a lot expected. It is a no joke, like peel your onion and make you uncomfortable to really make a promise to you at the beginning of this that your business will be up by the end of the year. But you will have to expose yourself to a lot of constructive criticism, and you will be held accountable to some pretty big tasks. So if none of that sounds groovy to you, you'll learn it in the interview process. So we'll talk about it more in each individual interview process as you get the email. If you say I'm interested, then I'll tell you more about this. I'm not the best salesperson at this right now. I'm like, it's gonna suck. Who wants to join? We will be taking a crew to said ALC in November. So the people who do join and decide to be uncomfortable and to live a bigger life and join this new ALC are going to be coming with us to Richmond in November to meet with 5 other ALCs and sit down with the TL in Richmond West. And she has created an ALC there where she's actually literally grooming 2023's people who were in the mighty middle and see how big the ALC has impacted those people's lives. They're like, what can you do to train me to become someone who could be considered for your ALC? She has a waiting list on her ALC. And that's what we're gonna have here. Sue, ask us any questions if you get the email, and we'll do interviews soon, and then we'll plan for our trip out.
And part of your, if you see this on the board, if you qualified for this year's rotation, you will be getting an email after, by the end of the day. There'll be a form for you to fill out with some information. They'll also talk to you about what is required of you. And in the interview process, we're gonna also tell you all the value propositions going back to you. So there's gonna be a lot of really cool things happening for the ALC that they're gonna get for their businesses, and then that will then trickle down to everybody else because, Maya, go ahead and say it.
I don't want to anymore.
Say
You already
it.
stole
Please
it.
say it. I need you to say it.
Because a rising tide lifts all ships.
Thank you. All right. So we're really, really excited. Spencer briefly went over it, but she's doing a lot of work on this, and we're excited about what the next.
A lot of
year
work, but I still had 2
looks like.
minutes, so yeah.
Good job, Spencer. You did awesome. So
If it helps, Matt, I've now heard you say it.
Thank you.
so we have
You're here every week now.
every week. All right, so Lauren. Here we go. We're excited.
Here we
Come on
go.
up.
Woohoo! Woohoo! This is Pauline, everybody. All right. super cool,
The video first.
Knowledge Shares did quick, video yesterday, but I just want to get here. I had taken her up, on a quick tour of Corolla, so Pauline comes to us from Virginia also.
Yeah.
Um,
And have formed ALCs and have been part of very successful ALCs. Jump in. It is so good for you in your career, your leadership of and for others to help with your growth, and then the give back that you do to watch this also increases profit share. So
all that.
do it, do it.
Smells really good too. You guys have.
Look at this lady.
She got my car yesterday, and I stopped my conversation, I was like.
No, you said delicious, no one knows.
I know. So she has done growth in Virginia. In fact, I guess so Tipper is the ALC I'm talking about is under.
Yeah.
So the OP for the ALC I'm going to. Or
One of my former counterparts before I
Yeah.
was asked to jump in here.
So I'm gonna let her just jump in, but this is pretty exciting. We're the guinea pig for her first one.
And can I just can't wait to tell them why. You know why? I know why. You know how this happened. I was vacationing
Yeah.
here, like I do every single year. And I was at a bar.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
sure
sure
you
you want to be filmed about the bar. I'll just let you do it.
And this guy says, it's always a good bar story, right?
Yeah.
This guy, I'm talking to him, having a few, and I said, what brought you here? Where are you from? And because I don't often meet people from here when I'm vacationing, right? They're from all over. And he said, oh, I came down with a friend of mine. We're from Northern Virginia. And I said, where? He said, Fairfax. I said, I know where that is. I'm kind of in that area. And I said, why are you here? And he said, well, my friend decided to get his real estate license. And so we're bartending. He said he just passed his exam. And I went, oh, growth opportunity. Always help real estate. So I said, you just got your license? I said, come here. Let's talk. What are you going to do with your license? He said, I don't know. I said, you need to learn from the best. You need to learn from the company that teaches people how to be successful, because do you know most agents fail? I heard that. He said, okay. So you're here. Are you staying here? He said, yeah. I said, Outer Banks just opened, great office. Let me connect you. And so that's how it happened. And then she said, thank you. And I said, by the way, we're doing this new thing.
Yeah.
And it's not launching until the first week in November. So she really did get you around the floor. So that's how it happened.
She's gonna be booked after this, so. We get in early.
Yeah.
All right, so.
So I have a quick little video from Gary. Go ahead.
I'll look who it is.
Oh, I muted him on the. Because I started playing all the ads and I didn't want you guys to.
I'm honored to be a part of this class. And hi, everyone. This is Gary Keller. And I know today's an important day for you, and I'm excited to help you kick off the final day of your BDRE training.
You're not
I've
there
seen
yet.
comments Legacy shared like, I'm honored to be a part of this class, and you guys in this program are amazing. I'm pleased to hear the course is well received and the information is valuable. Our mission was simple and straightforward: to put more qualified new home sales professionals into local marketplaces all over the world. Today, as a team, we've taken the first step to make that happen. So I want to congratulate you on your commitment to learn as much about new construction as possible and become more capable in this space. It's important. By now, you've learned that new construction sales are actually different than the traditional resale market and requires its own knowledge and skill set. Gaining these gives you the advantage of being the unique, trusted advisor that enhances your client's home buying experience. As a member of this first class, I commend you on your foresight. I really do. Keller Williams has been built on professionals just like yourselves, and I'm proud to serve you and support your growth in this area. So what's next? Well, let me answer by sharing a little bit of why I wanted to spend these few moments with you today. As you know, I'm a staunch believer in taking action. So your next step is to implement what you've learned. And as you've heard from Philip and the entire Legacy team, if you need additional guidance, feel free to call on them anytime. They're there for you. New construction sales, marketing, and operations has been the cornerstone to their resume and exceptional reputation for decades. Builders and developers across the globe have called on Legacy with impressive results. So I want to encourage you to use the Legacy team as your new construction resource. Now, soon, Legacy will introduce a new construction subscription-based online community with like-minded professionals that will help support your growth, provide continual learning, and increase your exposure in this specialized real estate segment. Now, beyond this, you may wish to explore the certification program, which will be introduced on the heels of this course. At the completion of the certification course, you'll be able to confidently present yourself to any builder or developer as a certified accredited new home sales professional with specialized training and expertise in the new home industry. KW leadership appreciates and understands the importance new construction has in our business, and knowing that this real estate segment will benefit you and your business, the KW brand, and will absolutely be of value to your customers, we entered into conversations about a KW New Home division with Legacy International in 2020. We believe in this so much that we'll soon be announcing the launch of KW New Homes, powered by Legacy International. And just as you've witnessed with our penetration into the luxury land and commercial spaces, we'll tirelessly work on the KW New Homes initiative until Keller Williams is seen as the industry leader. And I promise you, we'll own this space. And this initiative will help all of us further expand our new construction businesses while offering more thoughtful options to all our customers. Your KW leaders will be working in tandem with Legacy as we build out the infrastructure and further define the business model. I encourage you to get with team leaders, operating principals, regional directors, and divisional leaders, and get them feedback on this education, as the Legacy team is already investing time with each of them. We can do this better and get there faster if we all work together. Bottom up.
So the gist of this is, this is Gary's new wheelhouse, right? So I came from I started in general brokerage, worked general brokerage for about 9 years as an independent agent. Left there because I got into new construction. New construction consumed me. I spent 15 years in sales and marketing, leading the Mid-Atlantic region. Because I was like, I don't know if you guys know, homes, and meter and stuff like that. So I built sales teams, and then I came back to KW for a minute, went to another company, and formed this builder realtor business. And what I did, I'm going to share with you some results, but in my first year of building this business platform, I actually trained agents how to be a new home sales rep, which is a completely different skill set than if you worked resale, right? So we know the resale contract like the back of our hand. We know how to put a sign in the yard and a lockbox on the door, get people in and drive traffic and do sales and marketing, all that good stuff. Builder is site plans and grading plans and construction 101 and hurricane strapping and all this stuff that you need to learn when you work as a new sales rep. So we did some, for fun, I called it cross-dressing. I don't even know if I can say anymore. Cross-training, right? So we cross-trained with the builders, and we built this trust with them so that they allowed me to take our licensed agents and put them inside their sales models and sell new homes as a licensed realtor. Cool. Get it out. I paid a lot for that picture. Does this one, let's just do a test. Yeah. So right now, and please, I don't like just controlling the room. Talk to me. Where does your business come from right now?
Database.
And? And?
Jen, just keep going.
Yes.
Okay, I gave you guys two.
Yeah.
Database referrals, farming, on and on and on and on, right? How long is your current pipeline of listings right now? 3 total listings?
I said brief.
Brief,
Really
okay.
great right now.
So
Awesome.
are you gonna make money off your listings for the next 30 days?
Yes.
60?
No.
Yes,
90,
yes,
120.
yes.
So you have enough listings in your pipeline that you're eating for
Don't
the.
use him.
I'm just saying,
No.
but if we're talking about 60 to 90-day closes, I think you guys are a little short-sighted on your 60 days out, your 90 days out, because if you have 3 that go under contract next week, we're talking 60 days, that's actually a 70-day from now by the time you get paid. That's why I was saying that, more or less, to start conversation.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. 6 months from now.
I sure as heck hope not.
Okay.
I mean, I hope there's new inventory that's turned over.
Hope. I love hope. Okay. Hope. Wing and a prayer.
Yeah.
Who's been an agent for the longest time in here?
I think it's me,
How long?
39.
39 years?
Yeah.
You beat me. I've been 30. When has anyone in 39 years come over and said, I have 5 listings I want to give you? 5.
Been a long time.
But it's happened?
It's happened in the 80s or 90s, it happened.
Ooh,
It's been a long time, but I
10
haven't once.
listings. 10 listings.
No, not 10. Well, I don't know, because back when I started, we sold lots. And
Got
I would get developers that would give me, you know, all the lots in the subdivision.
40, 60, 100.
Oh, well.
I'm saying that's where we're going.
Right.
That's where we're going, right? Anyone else? Here's some listings. What has happened when you got those listings? So somebody said, here's 10 land listings. What came from that?
Sales
Of those land
and
listings?
construction.
So you got paid on the land sale.
Uh-huh.
Did you get paid on the construction sale?
I hate to say it, but no.
Okay, we'll change that.
I just felt it was like a conflict of interest, so I've never taken a referral on a construction.
That we're gonna get to,
Okay.
because that's real. She's lived this life.
That's right. That is real. That's really real. You feel like I should just give them a good
Right,
builder and that should just be part of my services.
exactly. And if I give them a good builder, then they'll come back.
So what if you had that land listing and you had a builder relationship? And you were getting ready to sell them a house and they said, oh gosh, I'd love to do this, but I have to sell mine first. Do you feel like you could represent them to sell their house and do the new house at the same time?
Could I represent them to sell their house and buy a new house?
Remember knowledge, right?
Okay. Okay, I definitely.
Can you represent them to buy a house and represent them to sell a house?
I can.
Okay. So what if the builder says, that's great, but I hired you to sell my lots. You shouldn't have time to go work on resale. So what happens is your counterparts in this room have nothing but more time to sell that resale and you get a referral on it. So you stay dedicated to the builder client. Because that builder client's hiring you and giving you 10, 20, 30, 40 listings. They don't want you to have the ability to go down the street and sell a resale in that same time period where they think maybe you're now taking their marketing dollars and getting paid in 30 days instead of a couple months down the road, right? So I've learned how to avoid conflict of interest. And that's just one example. When you work with builders and developers, the last thing they do is trust us as independent realtors with their database of people that they spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get to walk through their door for us to turn around and take down the street. They don't like us. They don't trust us. I've overcome it, right? Thank you. What is your value proposition when the buyer wants to buy a new construction home? What is your value proposition to the buyer? Why should they use you? Who controls the contract? Who controls the negotiation? Builder, right? when you're working with the builder, what is your value proposition to the builder? And this is all uncomfortable for us, right? And we don't have a lot of answers, and that's what this whole point is. We've developed this platform. We've developed 2 segments of training. One is to learn how to be that buyer agent representative and know your value proposition to your buyer. What can you bring to the table? Why should they use you? Why do they trust you? Because they're going to say, you don't write the contract. You're not in control of the negotiation, the builder and the site rep is. So why would I use you? I could just save money and go around you and go directly to the builder. Maybe the builder will cut me a deal, right? So we're going to build your value proposition of why they stay with you. The same thing with the builder. When you walk into a builder, how many have sold new construction? For the builder. You're an exception. No, you're good. You've sold new construction for the builder. What's your responsibility in that?
A lot of times I'm keeping the builder and the buyer on the same page because they've, when it comes getting down to the nitty gritty of the tile or the paint or the flooring or the this or the that, and keeping everyone in line with the budget. And if they decide to go over or they want to make changes, then it's getting the forms in and doing the changes and the signatures and making sure that if things are altered, that it is recorded and it's written and it's acknowledged. And it's continuing to do the checkup on the constructions, especially when my buyers are not in town.
So in this scenario that you're talking about, you worked as the buyer agent for the buyer, or you worked as an agent of the builder?
I am the buyer's agent.
Who's
It
worked
was
as an
a
agent for the
sale by owner of the contractor.
So when you work as an agent for the builder, you're wearing a completely different construction hat. Right? And so we're going to teach the next segment is how to represent a builder. So let's get into it. What do? We open doors with builders and developers that are building and developing new construction homes and or whole communities. We connect them with their general brokerage offices. And this doesn't mean that you are isolated into just working right here, right? We have opportunities. Gary talked about Legacy International coupled with KWRI. And so what we do is we build and develop across the world. I'm in contact with a developer who is headquartered out of the Cape, and they're building a community in Virginia that's equestrian. They're building a sailing community in the Cape. They're getting ready to launch a community in the Bahamas, and we're going to look for a sales rep that just wants to go to the Bahamas and sell for a year. Okay, so it doesn't mean you have to stay here and sell here only. It also gives you an opportunity to travel and be a builder rep once you get your certification to go sell a community that comes up in the Bahamas. Who's our target market? Custom builders, local builders, regional builders, national builders, and then influencers. Anyone who is tied to and connected to the rest, right? New homes, what's the value to the market center?
Market share.
More listings, more money, more cappers, more profit share, right? The same thing, this cyclical growth for an individual agent. If I give you a builder opportunity or you go find one and say, hey, I don't know how to close it. I'm back down here. We're going to go visit that builder. We're going to close the account for you. You don't need to know how to speak builders. I don't want you to close the account. I just want you to keep your radar up and think about who your builder contacts are. Let me go and close the account and bring it back. That's what I do. Okay. The expansion of your office, individual office growth, agent growth, team growth. Do we have any teams in the room? Yeah. So in your team, you want to build your bench strength. To build your bench strength, even as an individual agent, what if you were to hire a buyer agent and they were to go work in that new home community and sit there, sometimes if it's a big selling community, it's 5 days a week, right? So Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Right? You might have Wednesday, Thursday off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So you get 2 days off, you're 5 days on. Who has the time to do that? New agents. What do you do with new agents? It's recruiting, it's growth, it's an opportunity to expand. The new agent goes, they sit on the new home community site. They're selling. You get a piece of everything that they're selling. And when that person has to sell a resale to buy new, you do the resale. Right? We talked about how long your revenue is right now, 3 to 8 months down the road. Here's the lifespan of what happens with the transaction. You have new, you have a resale opportunity, you have a referral opportunity now when you stay in contact with your database. You just grew your database. So now you have more referrals coming in. The beauty of this, for those that are career long range minded, when you sell a whole community of 5, 10, 20 homes, what have you built? You built a farm. How long does it take to build a farm usually? Years to saturate into a community to make you the household name in that community, right? And tens of thousands of dollars of sponsoring the swim team and sponsoring Little League and sponsoring to make them think of you first, to own a farm. When you sell a new home community, you sold all of them, their home, right? And then you go out and you stay in touch with them. And now when they go to resell, who knows them best? Who knows the house, right? It's the gift that just keeps giving. Firsthand development of what I built in 1 year. This is an example of the huge Excel spreadsheet that I extract the information into for graphic purposes, but I had 190 listings and 62 million in sales volume in 1 year. All new construction. One builder and one developer. That's all it was. Craftmark Homes in Virginia, Maryland, DC area. I walked in and I'm pitching it and I'm trying it after I built this new program, and he said, okay, I need you to staff 5 communities. I'm like, oh, shit. I haven't trained anybody yet. I was just trying to see if this thing would float. His boat story, it floated. So, you know, but for an example, these are just community names: Stony Run, Clarksburg Village. I had to keep track of what was closed out at this period of time. The snapshot was 15 million that was closed. What was pending? So here's my pipeline of business, right? I had money coming in September, October, November, December, March, and April. I was going to start in January, February, I guess. And then here were the community names so that I could keep track of what's going on. You like it? Yeah. It's a lot of work. I was really tired. You don't have to speak builder. That's what I do. You just need to put your antenna up of who do you know that's a builder developer? Who do you want me to get in front of with you on your behalf, close the account, and turn it back to you to go sell it? That's my love. That's my passion. That's what I want to do. I've worked on this for 4 years with KW behind the scenes, wearing different hats in different places to get to this point. And it's, yeah. So what time does it require from your business? Huge variable. I don't have a concrete answer. If it's a builder that just is in a closeout phase and they have 2 homes left, you are not required in most cases to sit on site in that builder model 5 days a week. We would do that business just like we do our business. We put the sign up, we put the lockbox on, we do some brochures, and we do it by appointment, right? That's no different. But when we have an opportunity that gives us 30, 40, 50 listings, you're gonna be there. They're gonna be there, meeting, greeting all the clients and customers and showing them the opportunities and selling. BDRE and BDRC are two courses. BDRE is the springboard into how to rep a builder, how to rep a buyer. $250. Okay, takeaway of new tools in the tool bag. The big one, the BDRC, that's $8.99. That's a much longer course. It's much more in depth. It is your certification so that you now speak builder. You learn how to read site maps, grading plans, construction drawings. You can now speak it and you know it. And with that, you're now up for a builder account. Okay? Questions? Yes, sir.
So I know a lot of people in this room are thinking, okay, but we don't have giant pieces of land we can go after where I can have 100 people. And when she first called me, I thought that, and I thought, well, that mentality is that limiting belief, right? Oh, you can't help us because we're different. And I've been training really hard myself for 3 years to not have a limiting belief when I talk to somebody who seems like they have a great opportunity for us. So I said, I want to hear more. Here's the challenge. We don't have very many big swaths of land anymore. So how can you take this program and turn it into something of value for my agents when they might know a builder or want to know a builder, but at best they're probably going to get one spec from them to start, or maybe 2 or 3 if they're lucky. How does this help an agent on a beach that doesn't have an ability to put in a big 500 unit community, which by the way, that's limiting belief too, because they're coming over in Currituck. So
I'm sitting here thinking about a couple different areas.
Yeah.
And I know. they
There
would
were
be done
many
quickly.
on the books
I know,
in
I know.
07 when the
I know,
market
yeah,
collapsed
there's
too.
a handful, and you think that there's not little pieces of pockets, but there still are. I mean, there's people who own land that they're having it right now approved for 7 houses. Well, 7 houses is still pretty good, y'all. So why is that builder hiring somebody other than you? So that's why she's here. She's talking in big numbers so you can see that, this is what you focus on expands. But really, this is something where, you could use it yourself. So don't be limited in your thoughts. You can start talking to speak. You can start understanding how to make yourself stand out from the typical agent who's probably never written a new construction contract before and is probably nervous about the addendum and doesn't really know how to talk to a builder. Then you're going to be heads and shoulders above anybody else who would say, hey, why don't you let me create your marketing plan for you? Some of these guys don't even want to do marketing. They just want to build a house.
So builders truly just want to build.
Yeah.
They really detest sales. They don't want to have to sell. They don't have to sell. They don't like selling. And they usually talk too much, right? They don't like to sell. They don't know how to market. None of them have the reach of KW International. These builders, when they list with you and they get on the KW platform with Legacy and Keller Williams International, which is moi, right? We are exposing them to international buyers that want to buy a vacation home. How many people that live here right now as residents can keep buying $4 or $5 million homes?
Oh, well, we don't.
Where are they coming from?
Let's ask Alex.
Right? Where are your buyers coming from? These builders can't reach them when they go out and they do a little Google search engine to build their website. They can't reach them. They can't sell like we can sell for them. When I go speak to these builders on your behalf to close the account, I'm going to share with them the power of KWRI, the power of the Outer Banks, right, of Corolla. I'm going to share with them your power as a licensed agent who is certified in new homes. You understand construction. You're not just going out as an agent without the education behind you, right? And so what they get in return for hiring us is their ROI goes way up. The expense of these builders to have to hire a salesperson, pay them, give them benefits, and all of that is very expensive. To keep somebody trained and on the books to do the next little infill project is way too expensive for them. You guys are more suited for your pockets of small developments to own it than anybody who is selling a 100-lot community. When you have big masses of land, the builder is better off, believe it or not, hiring a full-time salesperson and having them on staff and paying their benefits because they're dedicated there. Your pockets of a couple here and there is exactly what this is. You own it. That's why I'm excited about being here. Right? I don't want to go to, can't say it, I shouldn't say it. Like Raleigh area. Like, you know what? You get into Raleigh and they have communities coming up all over the place. And they have 500 lots. They have Drees and Toll Brothers and
And they
Caruso.
own those sales agents. Who remembers the Currituck Club? We sold real estate back then.
Four Seasons.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
well, I think Joanne could sell outside Four Seasons.
Yeah.
When Currituck first started, Ed, Bob, Zach, who else was there? Marina, Jackson. That's the only place they worked, you guys, because they owned those people. And that's the only place they worked. That's all they did. Yeah, so it's different. You guys would still have the ability to go out, but then you could tell this builder, I'm your rural guy for this and this is why. So if you have interest.
I can tell them why.
Yeah.
I give them the why. I'll do all of that. You just need to say, I know someone and this is who they are. This is what they're about. I'll research them. We'll brainstorm together. I'll come up with the business proposition and you can go with me or I'll go solo and we close the account and then you get it.
Yeah. So if you have interest, come see her while you're having your lunch.
And I'll leave my contact information at the end.
She's here for a little bit because I'm.
Woohoo,
Woohoo! All right, thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Thank you.
I don't know where my staff went, but I think we're done. So, and it is Pat's birthday. I know stuff takes it for everybody, and so be sure to hug and squeeze on her and tell her you love her, because, she's here on her birthday working. That's bad. So, don't forget it. Nice. And unlike our meeting with you. Who's gonna start the chart? Yeah, okay. You? I don't know. I saw it. I mean, I really. Like I said, it's only got to be one day. So I would choose each time I think come up with that conversation. Every time I think about it, it's actually that they've already in the vaccine. So like, remember to go down to the pharmacy and get your. Yes. Yeah. I think they're dry. Well, and then the other thing was, but it's a one-time thing, right? I don't know. I don't know. But I think. Yeah, no, I think that's what she does. What's the best? I want to be able to tell I guess it doesn't. Because most people. You sticking around or you? No.